Welcome to the Business Mechanic Show. This is your host, Vaughn Sigmund, co founder of Results Driven Leadership. Today, I'm going to start taking you down a path that I've been wanting to take the listeners to for a while. And what I'm going to share with you over a series of podcasts, series of shows, is all focused on sales leadership. Now, for those of you who are not in sales, what I talk about during this is very often very relatable to a normal manager of any other department. So listen, no matter what team you're leading, you're going to get some great ideas and tips out of this. But I'm going to focus on the sales part of it. You can insert accounting, shipping, design, marketing in the way of what team you're leading in any one of these. Let me introduce you to something. Let's start this introductory podcast by identifying one of the biggest challenges sales managers have when they're promoted from a successful salesperson to a sales leadership position. And the fact is, the skills that made you an excellent salesperson are not the same skills that will make you a successful sales manager. Being a sales manager requires a different mindset and a whole new set of knowledge, skills, and tools. And I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but you may already realize the fact being a successful salesperson doesn't automatically make you an effective manager. You're, like I often talk about, the accidental manager. To truly inspire and motivate your team, and I know you want to do that, that's a core of your success. You're going to need to expand your expertise, and that's what we're here for. That's what this series of podcasts is all about. Scaling a business requires that sales managers are equipped with the tools and the strategies to drive real results. And as you progress, you need to focus on developing leadership skills, not sales skills. That's helpful, but you got to bring it to a new level. Let's start working on your leadership skills, things like effective communication, sales management techniques and tools that unfortunately most sales managers are never provided. In the realm of sales leadership, relying solely on this trial and error approach is a strategy destined for limited results. But unfortunately, most sales management training is just that, trial and error. Just figure it out. Folks, that rarely, if ever, works. I'm going to start giving you what you need to be a superstar. But that trial and error approach is like trying to find your way in the dark without a flashlight. Yeah, you might stumble upon success occasionally, but it's a far cry from a reliable path to achievement. And let's also address the common misconception that learning and development in sales leadership, like almost any kind of leadership, but especially in sales leadership, is akin to a car wash. You don't drive in and emerge clean and polished. In reality, acquiring and mastering sales leadership skills is a continuous journey that can span a lifetime. And I hope you're ready to invest that. And if you are, again, you're going to stand out from the crowd. But your initial and most crucial stop on this journey is to master the art of inspiring and motivating your team. And I'm going to spend 17 podcasts talking just about all the different ways you, as a former successful salesperson, can become a highly productive, high performing, high achieving sales leader. And that's in inspiring and motivating your team. I can't emphasize enough the importance of prioritizing this skill set. It's vital. These techniques are going to lay the groundwork for your enduring success, regardless of the industry or the sector you find yourself in. Does it matter? They transcend company boundaries, product types, target markets, you name it. It works for any industry. And as you embark on this journey with me and delve into these essential tactics I'll be sharing over the coming weeks, keep in mind the fact that I just made they're industry agnostic. Don't get hung up on that. These are very generic, but tailored just for you, the leader, the future highly successful leader, the ones that possess a remarkable ability to serve you, to serve your team, no matter your employer, no matter the nature of the company's offerings or the sales strategies or its customer base. The capacity to inspire a sales team is a foundational skill, one that I wholeheartedly recommend you commit to. I want you to embrace this as a core component of your future leadership competency. By adopting these proven tactics and making them an integral part of your leadership style, you will not only set yourself up for success, but you'll also create a lasting impact on your sales team and thus your organization. So let's dive into these strategies, shall we? Let's get started. Your journey to becoming an inspiring sales leader begins here. How much of that lack of knowledge and practice in sales management, how much is that costing you? Naturally, research shows that highly engaged sales leaders who effectively manage and lead and inspire their sales teams can significantly improve revenue and productivity. And it's the person you want to be. And this results driven program is backed by extensive behavioral research and leverages proven strategies to drive success. And I've personally honed these skills over 40 years with hundreds of sales managers. I've seen it work. I know it works. None of this is theoretical. I've applied them myself and I've watched others apply them. I've borrowed some of these tactics from others. And what you learn here, it's all from the front lines. Like I said, no theory. These tactics are all about what I've seen, what I've heard, and captured from the best sales managers in the world and in the world. And since I've used them myself, I know they work. And you know what? I'm very confident they're going to work for you too. So let's not settle for mediocre sales management. Let's commit right now to invest in yourself to become your team's inspiring leader. Be that boss that they talk about 10, 20, 30 years from now as being the big, impactful leader that guided, inspired, motivated them, made a difference in their lives, that turned the corner in their success. That's what you're going to be. Let's unlock your true potential and take your sales teams to new heights. Achieving success in managing a sales team goes way beyond just holding the title. Merely being a top-notch salesperson in the past just will not guarantee that you possess the qualities of a highly successful sales manager. And the shift in responsibility as a sales manager goes something like this: managing salespeople instead of managing sales targets. You personally were given sales goals, you're really good at blowing those out. You wouldn't be sitting in that chair, but now you're managing a team of people. And you have to manage the people, not your behaviors, their behaviors. As a salesperson, your primary focus was on achieving sales targets and closing deals. However, now that you're a sales manager, your role will shift towards managing people. You'll be responsible for building and leading a team, coaching and mentoring your team members, and setting goals and targets. Meanwhile, offering support to help them achieve those targets. It requires a mindset change, along with new skills, coaching skills, encouraging skills, practical skills, listening skills. As you start achieving and acquiring and becoming highly competent in those sorts of tactics and skill sets, the byproduct is you're going to be an uber successful sales manager. You'll be the sales manager you want to be. And now that you're in sales management, you've got to understand the big picture. The responsibility just broadened tremendously. As a sales manager, you got to consider the company's objectives and their long-term goals. And your role as a sales manager must align with your team's goals, which must align with the company's goals, mission, objectives. And you've got to ensure that all your sales strategies align with the company's overall vision, values, and objectives. And another big thing you're going to have to embrace and get really good at is developing a coaching mentality, because coaching in sales is a vital part of your role. But it requires empathy, a level of empathy you probably haven't had to exert in the past, certainly a level of patience and understanding, the ability to listen, truly listen, and offering constructive feedback. You cannot be demoralizing at any time in correcting a salesperson's behaviors or tactical approach. It must be encouraging. And that's a coaching mentality. And you must be willing to invest your time and energy into developing your team. It's the transformational triangle of change. Work on you in these skill sets, and that's going to transcend down into your sales team, which the other end of the triangle closes, the company's going to benefit. And part of all this is you've got to understand and embrace each team member's unique needs and strengths, and then devise a personalized coaching plan that caters to that individual's development. And none of this is about coddling, because you're going to embrace accountability, but at a whole new level. You're accountable for your team's performance, their achievements. And it requires a willingness to take responsibility for the team's failures. Also, provide constructive feedback to help them out of whatever hole we've gotten dug into. You're all about improvement, not about blame. And by the way, you're going to have to be transparent and willing yourself to be held accountable for your own actions and decisions, clearly accountable. And by achieving all that and at a high level, your team's going to look up to you as a role model. So always keep in mind, you're going to have to lead by example. And that team success is your success. They're going to determine how successful you are. It's shifting the mindset to them and away from you. And when you focus and learn the tactics that I want to share with you over the coming weeks, you'll be able to inspire, motivate your team to make them a super sales powerhouse, one that'll be willing to go to battle every day for you. You'll become inspirational and successful after you've embraced all these attitudes and mindsets. Most important, it's about them, not about you. Greatness comes through the willingness to change and embrace new challenges, and you're about to embark on an uncomfortable but very important new direction in your ability to be a leader. And during these podcasts, you're going to discover the critical knowledge that you're going you must possess to ignite your team's potential. This all too common issue hinders success and underperformance, and that's their lack of inspiration and motivation. The results-driven sales managers possess the secret to achieving exceptional results, empowering salespeople. And understand too, this is a huge mistake that I see over and over. Sales leadership goes beyond intimidation. You cannot. It goes beyond analysis. It goes beyond lecturing how I used to do it. No, it's about motivating and inspiring using the tools and approaches I'm going to share with you. That's crucial. Unlike other employees, salespeople, let's face the fact, deal with a rejection all day, every day from clients and prospects. And as their leader, it's your responsibility to acknowledge that fact and then to counter that emotional impact that has on them. They don't get that level of rejection in the accounting department, the shipping department, the design department, the marketing department. Just doesn't happen. They face it 90% of their interactions often is a rejection. 10%, 20% close rate. Some are a little bit higher, but you've got to account for that. A lot of times companies and especially bosses don't embrace the fact that they're getting pounded in the head with rejection all day, every day. Your job is to get them over that, dust them off and get them back in the game. You got to lead them to their full potential all day, every day. And I'm going to give you some simple steps over the coming weeks. I'm going to reveal to you things that you can easily learn and apply. If I learned it, you can learn it. Sales strategies, motivational approaches, and all of this is going to boost your sales team's performance. Get ready to take your sales team to new heights. And as I share these proven techniques and strategies in this series of podcasts, you're going to need to practice them. And if you practice them, you'll quickly acquire the art of motivating and encouraging your sales team, especially for those of you who this does not come naturally to. You're going to have to get your mind wrapped around. You're going to be making some changes, and they're going to be difficult changes. But with those changes, you're going to start inspiring and leading a team like never before. Inspiring a sales team, leading a sales team is more of an art, not a science. And like any art, it must be practiced over time. And mastering the art of inspiration is not the work of a day, a weekend, or a month, but rather an area for long term personal growth, one that you're committed to. And if you choose to invest in this approach, these tactics that I'm sharing with you, you're going to be a phenomenal sales manager. Now, I get a little hyper sometimes about this, so I've got to be careful. I want to dispel a myth for those of you who may be a little lower key than me, and that's the raw myth. Let me start by debunking that myth. Inspiring salespeople does not require over the top enthusiasm. I don't believe that, Hyde. You don't have to be a super energetic, Tony Robbins-esque leader to inspire a sales team successfully. And listen up. Here's the real deal about top tier sales managers, and I've seen hundreds of them. The ones I've crossed paths with over the years, they're not all cheerleaders. They're not often raw types. They're very servant leaders. They're coaches. They're supportive. But let me tell you, they've got this killer instinct for firing up, captivating, and fulfilling the emotional drives of their sales team. This isn't Glengarry Glen Ross. This isn't Wolf of Wall Street. That's for the movies, not a training film. Very low key personalities can be very successful sales leaders. This isn't about hype. Their secret sauce for cranking out phenomenal results is they play the game like masters, knowing the tactics, practicing and deploying the tactics that I'm going to share with you. They know how to dial up the energy of their team and achieve those sky high numbers. So, with that, I'm going to end this introduction And I'm really looking forward in the coming weeks to giving you the knowledge, skills, and tools you're going to embrace to become a results driven sales manager.